Hello and welcome to another video by channel này. Chào các bạn một video khác của channel này nha. So in this video, I and my students, we have 4 students in the class today. I'm so excited. We have so many people in this class now. And we are going to do speaking again. And now I have my online class for students. So excited. So many people here. Miss Tu, Miss Yun, Mr. Thái Dương, and Mr. Bang. Okay, and no sign of Mr. Khan because he is still busy with COVID prevention. So anyway, my online class is growing. Class, are you ready? Okay, good. Let me increase the volume a bit. So let's talk about New Year celebration for part 1. Mr. Ban, please. How do you celebrate New Year?
Oh, this is really really important event for me, especially for like we spend the entire year to work. Then at the end of the year, everybody in every year member of my family is gathering together. We celebrate it. We preparing food. We have some drinking and talking. We share our working experience. We have some funny story to share with each other.
Is there anything else?
Well, I must say that it's how to say it's the good time for us to be grateful. The time for us to
for what
grateful
God has
for
given us. Huh?
yes, grateful for the opportunity that life given to us and our ancestor.
That life has given to us.
Life have given to us.
Has because life is singular. Life has given to us.
Life has given to us.
Life has given to us.
Life has given to us. I think I need to change my microphone.
Your microphone needs to change. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Right, Miss Yuen, please. So Miss Yuen is a new student in this class now. So, Miss Yuen, do you think New Year celebration are necessary or is necessary?
In my opinion, New Year celebration are really essential. Special and essential because especially in Asian, actually in Asian, include Vietnamese people, we are really waiting and expecting for New Year celebration because I think New Year is the best time for family members to gathering together and have some gathering together.
To do gathering, remember, gathering is a kind of a noun, but gather is a verb. To gather together, to gather together.
Together.
Or you can say to do gathering. Then gathering is a noun, but you can use the verb
do gathering.
To do
yes.
gathering.
To do gathering.
But
together.
nobody really do that. I mean, people usually say people gather, you know.
Gather. Yes.
Yeah, people say people gather. We say people gather, you know.
Yes.
Now, do you still remember a year that you celebrated, Miss Yuen?
When I look back, I always remember a new year that I celebrated when I was young. Celebrated when I was young because this is so because of at this time social media is less common.
Was less because it's
common.
in the past, right?
Yes.
So social media was less common.
Yes. Well, less common than nowadays. So we have a lot of time to
do what?
To some special things, like we make chung cake together.
Okay, the Vietnamese chung cake.
Yes.
And other kind of special food.
Yes.
I see. So tell me, Mr. Yoon,
Yeah.
do you have any ceremonies to celebrate the New Year in your country? Except from the Lunar New Year, there are many thousands of ceremonies in Vietnam to celebrate the New Year. You should mention that. Do you have any ceremonies to celebrate the New Year in your country?
What is ceremony? I don't understand.
Nghi thức.
Oh,
Nghi thức, nghi lễ. Ceremony.
this is a lot. Oh, so for the ceremony to celebrate
Yes.
the New Year's in my country, we need to have how can I say, bàn thờ gì thờ?
Say again.
Bàn thờ.
The altar? What do you mean?
We need to clean the altar to show the respect to the
Altar là cái bàn thờ á. Altar. I hope that this one won't recognize the clicking sound of my laptop, of my keyboard. Hopefully not. Let me just check again, okay? Just a moment. Okay. Right, so Miss Tu, are you still there? Hello?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how do you celebrate New Year, Miss Tu?
Wow. This is one of my favorite holiday, where our family can gather to have a heart-to-heart talk and express then a thankful feeling to the other members. My family celebrated this in our own way.
No, you just say a Lunar New Year. Please say the Lunar New Year. Just say the Lunar New Year. Don't say that, okay? The Lunar New Year. Because a lot of people, they don't know what that is. Nhiều người không biết cái Tết là gì đâu. Just say the Lunar New Year. It's better.
Okay.
Năm mới theo lịch mặt trăng, theo âm lịch. Nó là the Lunar New Year. Because a lot of people, they don't know what that is. You have to mention the Lunar New Year and people will understand it more. Please. Miss Tu, again.
Yes.
How do you celebrate New Year?
Thầy mới hỏi cái gì thầy?
How do you celebrate New Year? How do you celebrate New Year?
Yes. The New Year's is one of my favorite holiday, when our family can gather to have a heart-to-heart talk and express a thankful feeling to the other members. My family celebrated New Year's in our own way.
In our own way. Ways.
Before the members, my family. Before the first day of the Lunar New Year, all members of my family prepared everything together.
Prepare. Not repair. Không phải repair, nó là prepare.
Prepared everything together. Some cleaned the house, some water the plants, or the cook. My brother said that this was a precious time when the family was
precious. It's a precious time.
My mother said that this was the precious time when the family was reuniting. Đoàn tụ thầy, đoàn tụ.
Gathering.
Reunion.
Reunion or union. Reunion.
Reunion and together.
Yeah.
Reunited and together prepared everything to celebrate the new year.
I think the verb is to reunite, but the noun is reunion.
Yes.
Buổi đoàn tụ reunion, nhưng mà cái động từ là to reunite. So when my family reunite and thật sự đoàn tụ này là đoàn tụ sau một cái khoảng thời gian rất là lâu dài không gặp nhau á. Yes. Reunite here means like you meet each other after a very long time or after like a very big event in all of your lives. Sau một cái biến cố lớn hoặc là một cái gì đó lớn, cả gia đình gặp lại nhau đoàn tụ thì nó dùng reunite. But normally we don't say reunite. I don't think. I think gather is enough. Gather. Động từ to gather. Okay, so Miss Tu, do you still remember a new year that you celebrated? I'm still waiting. Miss Tu, yes. Do you still remember a new year that you celebrated?
I celebrate the New Year by choosing.
I celebrated the New Year by
choosing to feel happy, joyful, and reaching out to share these sentiments with my family members and friends. For example, every year when the new. Mình không dùng từ test được hả thầy?
When the Lunar New Year, let's just say the Lunar New Year.
Okay. For example, every year on the Lunar
New Year.
The New Year's holiday, my family go for a tour every affair. We end up drinking ourselves silly and having an amazing time.
Okay.
On that we never would have expected beforehand.
That's what we would never have expected beforehand. I see. Right. So, Mr. Bang, please. Why do people think the New Year is a new beginning?
Wow, it's unexpected question actually.
It is. It's why do people think New Year is a new beginning?
Actually, it's based on our cultural practice, like our cultural thinking. So that every end of the year we have celebrated and say goodbye to the old year, the previous year, and say in the previous year, and say hello to the new year, and we do some wishes, and that's why people think that it's really important, and they think that New Year's new beginning.
Oh, that's why. I see. What do you think, Miss Yuen? Why do people think that New Year is a new beginning? Tại sao con người ta luôn nghĩ năm mới là một khởi đầu mới?
A lot of people think that New Year is a new beginning because this is the first day of the year, and this motivated us to do many interests and explore new things.
Interesting thing, exploration, you mean?
Yes. Exploration, and moreover, this is just like an opportunity for us to create a newly. This is the best time for us to have an opportunity to newly created a ghost.
A what?
Can I say that? A ghost. Một mục tiêu á thầy, kiểu cái
Ghost hoặc là a ghost. Ghost là con
a
ma.
go-
A go.
a goal
And a
A
ghost
ghost.
is different. Một cái là
Yes,
cái goal, một cái là con ma.
a goal
A goal or a ghost
Goal.
is different. Âm cuối nó khác nhau mà.
Yes.
The last sounds different. One is go, one is a ghost. Be careful.
Yes.
Now, please
Okay.
continue.
And especially a lot of people can move,
Especially, not especially. Nó là nha. Especially.
Many people can move from their mistake before and starting to a new things. This is why New Year's Eve, new beginning.
Right, good. Okay, let's go to number 12, which is reading. So, Mr. Yoon, please, how often do you read?
Oh, I read really often. Like every day, I read a book. I read a part of a book. It's really often. I like to read the novel from Japan. Novel from Japan and some novels of popular of famous writer like
Famous writers,
yes.
like
Okay. I don't remember his name.
anyway, they're famous writers anyway. Okay, so do you have many books at home, Mr. Yoon?
Yes, I have a lot of books. Really much. I have comic books which have half of my books I have at home. Half again is comic books. No, it's
Just
novel.
a comic book. Just a comic book. Just
Okay.
one.
No, it have a lot of comic books.
It has là theo thua rồi. There
Then
are
there
a
are
lot of comic books.
a lot of comic books.
Có cái gì đó là there are, there is nhé. Remember. But there are a lot of comic books in my bookcase. Let's say. Try again.
I have a lot of there are a lot of comic books in my bookcase, and more half of it is novels, different novels from different writers around the world, and there's some English book which from my my cousins. They give it for me to read.
Who?
To
Is it
improve
cousin?
my yes, I have a lot of cousins.
Oh, I never know it.
Which is and some I buy on the internet.
Some I bought it on the internet.
I bought it in the internet.
On the internet. When I bought it on the internet. Mua trên mạng mà. Chứ phải trong mạng đâu. Trên TV, on the TV, on the internet, on Shopee, on anywhere else. I bought it on the internet.
I buy it on the internet. It's from far away from my country.
Okay. Anything else? Now, so Mr. Bang, do you often buy books?
Yes, I must say that I'm not really that often to buy any book. Books.
I don't buy books that often. I
I
don't buy books that
yes.
often.
Oh, sorry. I don't buy books that often because nowadays I only read information from the internet, and I have tons of electronic books, so I actually don't need to buy anymore.
Of course, you don't need more. Now, so tell me, do you think Vietnamese people do enough reading? Why and why not?
Well, I don't think the Vietnamese people have enough reading actually
Do enough
because
reading. Do enough reading.
do enough
Làm
reading.
đủ cái chuyện đọc sách.
Yes. Because I feel that some people like totally ignorant out there. Lots of people are ignorant out there. They
They
have
ignore knowledge. They just ignore books.
yes, they spend time for other things, other purposes, but not for book.
I don't read books, but I write books.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it ironic?
Yes, so weird.
It's very ironic. Thật là mỉa mai. Very ironic.
Yes.
It's very ironic. Very mỉa mai. It's ironic. It's ironic that I never really like to read books, but I write books. So that is a situation that we people call ironic. Mỉa mai quá.
Such a shame.
No, it's not a shame.
No.
It's not a shame.
Such a shame is
No, such a shame is when you think that something would have been different, but people fail you. People fail you. Fail your expectations. Khi con người ta đã thất bại, không có đúng như cái kỳ vọng người ta mong muốn.
Okay.
Thì mình dùng it's such a
I
shame.
see.
Like for example, it's such a shame that the government should have done a better job, but they did not. Thật là hổ thẹn là chính quyền nó đáng lẽ nên làm điều tốt hơn nhưng họ đã không làm được. Thất vọng đó. Such a shame. But ironic is different. Ironic is when it's, let's say, you think that people who write books would be the people who read a lot, right?
Yes.
But no, not all the time. Like, for example, for me, I don't read books, but I write books a lot. So I think that situation is very ironic. Nó mỉa mai châm biếm. Nó khác với lại thật một điều đáng hổ thẹn chứ. Nó điều ngược lại mà. Nó không có liên quan.
Yes.
Being ironic and being like such a shame is two different things, you know. Okay, can you try again? Do you Vietnamese people do enough reading?
Sorry, hold turn.
Let's try that question again. Mr. Bang, do you Vietnamese people do enough reading? Why or why not?
I think Vietnamese people don't have enough reading.
Do enough reading.
Sorry?
Don't do enough reading.
Don't do enough. Yes. Vietnamese people. I think that Vietnamese people don't do enough reading. Because I saw many people in totally ignorance and they do many.
You mean the adjective ignorant or ignorance?
Yes, ignorant. Ignorant.
Adjective, not the noun. Okay.
Yes.
Totally ignorant of.
Ignorant. About everything is happening around them. And
people
they
are
spend time
ignorant of everything that happens around them.
Okay.
Giới từ of nha, ignorant of something. To be ignorant of something. Right, and then?
And let me think.
Okay, so let me ask Miss Yuen. So, in your opinion, what is the best place to read?
Oh, let me see. A lot of people choose read in a quiet place, but in my mind, I always enjoy reading in the garden in my house. Because this is the most convenient.
Sorry? This is the most what?
Convenient. Maybe I have some mistake.
I have no idea what the word is.
Kiểu nó
It's a more private place. It's the most private place. Riêng tư
Nó
nhất.
là kiểu không gian, nó không khí nó thoáng lắm đó thầy. Kiểu
Can you write that one down to the chat function?
okay.
You can write it down on the chat function and then
Okay,
to
I will
send
write.
to everyone. Okay. Gửi cho tất cả
By
mọi người. I can do that.
atmosphere.
You mean the most atmospheric?
Yes.
Convivial.
Convivial.
So it comes from the word la vie, life, all alive.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
convivial atmosphere, like the atmosphere that it's most alive, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never heard of that expression before. Anyway, convivial atmosphere, okay.
Yes.
It's
Because this is
atmosphere, not atmosphere. Ghi sai chúng ta.
atmosphere.
Most
Okay.
atmosphere.
Okay. Because the most convivial atmosphere in my house, and I can see the clear blue sky. This is so perfect.
So perfect. Okay, so let me ask Miss Tu. So what kind of people like reading? And what kind of people don't like reading? Những người như thế nào không thích đọc và những người thế nào thích đọc? It's a good question.
In my opinion, reading books depends on each person's interest and work. For example, young people like to read modern.
Chậm lại. Slower. You're being too fast again. You make mistakes again. Lots of mistakes again. Chậm lại, please. Slower.
Tại sao mà từ ngày đi chích thuốc cái tim em nó đập nhanh?
Trời ơi, cái này là do tại thói quen chứ không phải là do tại chích thuốc đâu. Đổ thừa nữa. It's not because of the vaccine that you are speaking faster. It's because of you. It's because of you. Now,
Yes.
Miss Tu, what kind of people like reading and what kind of people don't?
In my opinion, reading books depends on each person's interests and work. For example, young people like to read modern romantic books. Other people like classic books such as
Gone with the Wind.
Đúng rồi, Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind.
Gone the Wind.
Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind. Windy Hills.
Cánh đồng đầy gió.
Windy Hills có nghĩa là đồi gió hú á thầy.
Windy Hills.
Those who do research will read books about their nature. Nature.
Ngôi mộ mới đất. Ngôi nhà ma.
What?
If you like to read horror, you can read A Ghost House, The Haunted House, or the newly made grave site. The newly made grave site. Ngôi mộ mới đất, ngôi nhà ma. Nguyễn Ngọc Ngạn, tác giả Nguyễn Ngọc Ngạn.
You read 101 Question of FBI.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes.
By the way, it has the English version or only the Vietnamese?
It has why? There are English versions and Vietnamese version, right?
Does it have? Yes.
Is there English version?
Is there
Vietnamese version? Is there, are there?
Yes.
Trời ơi, phá cái thói quen phá cái thói quen it has khó quá.
Yes.
It's so difficult to break that bad habit. When you want to say something exists, you say there is, there are. Or in the past tense, you say there was, there were. it's difficult to break that old habit of yours.
So
Now, so
are there English versions of the
maybe
type?
there may be English version. There may be English version available. Okay, Mr. Yoon. So, what do you think is the best place to read?
I think the best place to read is in a quiet place where everything is green, like green like grass and tree, and it has slow music to hear.
It has not.
There is slow music to hear.
Tại em nói quá nhanh. You're speaking too fast. That's why you're making more mistake. Speak slower. Tôi dặn bao nhiêu lần rồi. Các bạn đọc chậm lại. You're speaking too fast all the time. Now, try again, Mr. Yu. So, in your opinion, what is the best place to read?
In my opinion, the best place to read is a place that there are grass everywhere. It's half a green of grass.
It hasn't.
There are green of grass. Yes. And peaceful music to hear while reading. Like how can I
You mean
say,
background music to hear?
Yes, background music to hear, and I like to hear Vivadil. Do you know that guy?
Classical music with Vivadil. You mean the one Vivaldi?
Yes, Vivadil.
The woman who plays the violin.
Yes, it's have a winter. There are the winter.
Winter, autumn, summer, and spring.
Yes, but I just like winter.
Nó có cái hồi ấy, movement. Chương hồi, movement. There are movements in there, like winter movement, autumn, summer, and spring movements. But winter is good. I like it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so my next question for Miss 2, be very slower, speak slower, okay? So, do you think reading is important for children, Miss 2? I'm asking Miss 2, do you think reading is important for children? Miss 2 ơi.
Yes. I think so. It's very important because the children in Vietnamese because Vietnamese people read only
read. Nó kéo dài đấy, y kéo dài mà. It's read with a long e sound. Vietnamese people read.
Yes.
You mean Vietnamese people do not read much, right?
Not much. Because để em nói lại nha thầy.
Okay, try again.
Okay. I think so. It's very important that the children read the books because Vietnamese children read only so little per year.
So few books of a year. Book đếm được. Book is actually countable. So few books per year.
From what I know, I can say that Vietnamese people read very little. Maybe they are too busy or they were not encouraged to read books when they were young. so they so they're so they're so they are so they aren't not a habit to reach.
Okay. Now, let's move on to part 2 now. We have spent too much time in here already. Now, 14, right? Okay. Yeah, no, we are done with this one already. Let's go to 15. Topic number 15 in part 2 and part 3. So, describe a kind of weather that you like. Miêu tả một loại thời tiết mà bạn thích. You should say what it is, nó là cái gì. Where you go in this weather, bạn đi đâu vào cái thời tiết đó. What you do in this weather, bạn làm gì trong cái thời tiết đó. And explain why you like it. Giải thích lý do tại sao bạn lại thích nó. And you have part 3 of weather also. What do people wear in different weather? Con người ta mặc cái gì trong nhiều cái thời tiết khác nhau? How does the weather influence people's life? Nhấn âm đầu nha. Influence. First syllable, okay? Làm thế nào thời tiết nó ảnh hưởng đến cuộc sống của con người như thế nào? Why are weather forecasts often unreliable? Tại sao những cái dự báo thời tiết nó thường không đáng tin cho lắm? Are there any festivals about seasons in your country? Có những cái lễ hội nào về thời tiết, về mùa, lễ hội theo mùa trong đất nước các bạn không? Ví dụ lễ hội mùa xuân, mùa hè, mùa thu, mùa đông gì đó. Okay. There might be like spring festival, summer festival, something like that. Okay, so you have 3 minutes to think about this one. 3 minutes. Okay, ready. Now,
Yes.
please describe a kind of weather that you like. Who first, Nam?
Who's first? Anyone?
Miss Yuan, please. Can you be the first person? Okay.
Okay.
Now, please describe a kind of weather that you like. Please.
In my opinion, my favorite weather that I extremely love in the years,
I really love. Let's just say I really love.
I love. Can you say that?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, that I love in the years. Maybe there is neither sunny nor foggy day. This
Just a moment, please. Just a moment, please. All right, we are back. So, Miss Yuan, you were about to say about the kind of weather you like. Can you start again?
yes. My favorite weather in the years that I crazy about. Oh, sorry. Can I say again? The favorite weather in the years. This is neither scorching nor foggy.
It's neither scorching hot or freezing cold, right?
Or freezing cold. This is just a
freezing cold.
freezing cold. It's just a chilly weather. With a cloudy combined with
Combined with
a little bit a slight breeze.
I don't understand it.
Oh,
Slight
can
breeze. Sure, just write down on the chat.
yes. Slight breeze.
Drizzle.
Can I say that?
Slight
Can I say that?
breeze. Gió nhẹ. Slight breeze.
Yes.
With a slight breeze. Why not? Gió nhẹ.
Yes, slight breeze. And you know, this is the feature of Dalat weather.
Oh, it's called crisp air. We have crisp air, means like the air that is it's a bit cold and very fresh, just like Đà Lạt.
Yes.
That's called crisp air, you know.
This is a feature of Đà Lạt weather. Especially this is
especially
especially this is a present that nature give to our life.
Okay.
Oh,
Right.
and
Okay, good enough, I think. And that's why I like it, right?
yes.
So what do you do in this weather? You forgot to say that, I think.
Yes, I would say that. Last year, when my country didn't face with COVID-19 pandemic, my family take a chance to visit.
Take a chance to take a chance.
Okay, took a chance to visit Đà Lạt City. This is beautiful weather with barbecue party.
There was beautiful weather.
This was beautiful weather with a barbecue party. And this is memorable. This is so memorable for my family. And why I'm real crazy about this weather? Just because I was born in Ho Chi Minh City, the southern of Vietnam. We just have two seasons a year, two weather a year.
You mean 2 seasons per year?
Yes,
Two kinds of weather.
Okay, two kinds of
weather is
weather.
uncountable, không đếm được nha.
Yeah, okay.
Weather is uncountable, so you should say two kinds of weather to count it.
Two kinds of weather, sunny and rainy. This is so why I love this weather.
Now, so Mr. Dương, please describe a kind of weather that you like.
Well, for me, the weather I would like in the year is it's like a foggy day. It's not like a foggy day. It's a cloudy day with a little bit wind.
You mean with a bit of breeze, with a bit of a breeze or a slight breeze?
Like breeze. It's like a weather before rain, but it's not rain.
So you mean it's like cool and windy?
No, it's not really windy. It's just a little bit windy.
Oh, okay. Cool and slightly windy?
Yeah, and that's where the make people feel sleepy. But for me, I like to read book with that weather. It make me so peaceful.
Make me feel so peaceful.
Make me feel so peaceful, and it's clean my mind. When I relax, it's clean my mind. It gives me relax. So I just would like to stay. I just would like to stay in house. To enjoy it.
Okay. Okay, so that's why you like it, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Miss Tu, please. Describe a kind of weather that you like, please. Tốn 10 giây trước trả lời. Tốn 10 giây trước trả lời.
To me, spring is a joyful season, and it is the beginning of a whole new year. The weather in spring is mild and fresh.
The weather is what? Không nghe rõ.
The weather in spring is smell and fresh.
I don't know what that word is. Mirror? What? Smear? What is that?
M-I-L-D.
M-I-L-D. Mild.
Mild.
It's mild. Trời ơi, mild. Trời ơi, thua. Mild.
Sorry.
Y ngắn L đọc sao? I-L, how do you say it? Mild. Mild.
Mild.
Try again.
The weather in spring is mild and fresh. When flowers are starting to bloom, and the leaves are greener than ever.
The leaves.
Leaves. In the south, it will be a little bit cool.
Cool will be cold. Will be a little bit cold.
Bit cold. With drizzle. Cái làn gió nhẹ thầy. Drizzles.
With drizzle.
Drizzles. That's the special feature.
Mưa phùn. Drizzle. Drizzle means like a slight rain, and it's always raining. It keep on raining for a long time, right? Nó cứ liên tục nó mưa thời gian dài, nó mưa nhỏ. Drizzle, isn't it?
Mưa phùn.
Exactly. It's like a very small. It's like it keep on raining for a long time, but the rain is not heavy. It's just very slight rain, but it keep on raining for a long time. Okay, continue, please.
That is the special feature here. Additionally, in spring we have lunar holiday, our traditional New Year event, which is usually located in February. This is the biggest occasion of the year, which many festival and people are
many festival, right?
And people are unhappy about it.
Okay, and that's why I like it, right?
People, their regularly activities, get out of their houses and admire the beauty of spring, especially yellow hoa mai là gì vậy thầy?
Just say yellow flower, hoa vàng. Just say yellow flower.
Apricot blossom and pink
blossom. You mean cherry? You mean what kind of blossom?
Up the sky.
I don't understand what you say. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Không hiểu.
Ý em muốn nói là đặc biệt đó là vào ngày Tết đó thì hoa mai vàng và hoa đào nó nở đầy sáng.
Cherry blossom. Hoa đào là cherry blossom, and hoa mai, what's that?
Right. Okay.
Just say yellow flower.
I love wandering around on these days. The spring is so special. It carries so much love and happiness.
Okay. Okay, fine. Now, Mr. Bang, your turn, please. Describe a kind of weather you like.
Okay, so I love the weather in autumn period. The autumn period when the temperature is cold. There's no rain. Cold.
It's not cold. Winter is cold, but in the autumn it's cool.
Yes.
It's cool.
There's no rain and the sun is less intense. Like last year, I went hiking with my colleagues. With my colleagues. On the mountain, and we did campaign there also. We campaigned. we like cắm trại, like campaign or camp.
We do
Camping.
camping. We do camping.
We did camping
We
there.
did camping. Yeah.
So I love the autumn periods because when the temperature is cooler, it makes people like relax and calmer and relax. Especially it is a time for my vacation of the year. Then I enjoy spending my time with my college in a new place, and we gain a lot of experiences about survival. I would say that
You mean we
experience
gain a lot of experience. Cái experience không đếm được, nó là kinh nghiệm. Còn experience đếm được là trải nghiệm nha.
Yes.
So basically,
let me
which experience you're talking about? You gaining experience, it's uncountable, okay?
Yes.
We gain a lot of experience about
the how to live in the forest. We can look for food, the way we look for food and choosing the right food to eat in the forest also. It's quite kind of, it was, how to say, that trip was a really interesting field trip for me. So,
okay.
Yes.
Good. So let's do part 3 weather now. Okay. Miss Yuen, please turn on your microphone because you were talking, so that's why I have to mute your microphone. So, sorry.
Okay.
Miss Yuen,
No
so
problem.
what do people wear in different weather and why do they do so? What do you think?
Yes, we must care about yes, we must wear different clothes in different weather because we must protect our health, especially in Vietnam. In summer, we always the weather in summer the weather in the summer the weather is so scorching and hot. We must wear casual clothes such as t-shirts and jeans and other else.
Okay.
And in the winter, we must protect our health by a jacket or coat.
Okay. So those are good recommendations for different kind of clothes that people wear in different weather. Thank you. So Mr. Young, please. So how does the weather influence people's life? Think about how they work, how much they sleep, how their activities will be affected. Mr. Young?
Well, I think in different weather they have different activities like
it has
like
there is different
like they no, like in spring like in spring the people are likely to sleep more
giờ
than
cái mỗi cái there is giờ cái mỗi cái there it has cho 5.000 đi. 5.000 xong bỏ vô trà sữa cho lớp nha.
Trời ơi, nhà có hết tiền rồi.
Vậy thì mới để ý chú ý hơn. Trời đất ơi. Let's say that it has that you said you invest in 5,000 Vietnam dong for the class to buy milk tea. How about that?
No.
Then come on, I will help you. Try again.
Well, I think in summer.
In the summer. Mùa phải có the nha. In season you should have the. Like the spring, in the summer, in the autumn, in the winter. Try again. How does the weather influence people's life?
Like in the spring, people likely to go outside to take
to do what?
to do exercise in the morning. They like to do that. People for the worker or the harvest, the worker who harvest.
Harvest, you mean the harvest, right?
Yes, the
For the
harvest.
harvest. Thu hoạch.
The harvest on the on that on the, in the spring they put the how can I say, seed of the rice.
You mean they sow seeds. Gieo hạt. They sow seeds. Động từ to sow. Sow, siêu, trồng. Gieo xuống, sow, siêu, trồng. They
So
sow seeds.
they sow seed for retaining for a new harvest. In the summer, people children in the summer children they rest and they don't go to school, so they so they stay at home to help their parents doing work or play at the beach because on the summer it's very hot. Every people want to do that. On falls the
In
worker
the
will
fall
have it
or in the autumn.
in the autumn. The worker who they already they harvest.
They harvest, âm đầu. First syllable, harvest.
They harvest the good.
You mean the
and
produce. Sản vật nông nghiệp, produce.
granules. They harvest the granules, and on winter they're likely to sleep longer than ever than
Yes.
other season.
Anything else?
That's all.
Okay, good.
That's all.
Now, so I'll ask Mr. Bang, please. So, why are weather forecasts often unreliable? What do you think?
Yes, so is it the forecast? That's what people only predict about the weather, what is happen in a short period. But I think nowadays the climate has changed a lot. So it could happen like it's how to say it, unpredictable.
It can be very unpredictable, right?
It can be very unpredictable.
And then?
Oh, sorry, my mind went blank. Oh,
It's okay.
then at the end, it's just a forecast for people to be prepared.
Yeah, forecasting is just
It's
forecasting.
just a forecasting. It's just for people to be prepared for incoming weather.
Oh, look out there, it's about to rain. Sắp mưa rồi kìa.
Yes.
Okay, and then so are there any festivals about seasons in your country, Miss Yuen?
Oh, there are a lot. There are a lot of festivals about season in my country in a year,
Yeah.
but the most remarkable festival is maybe in the spring season. We will count down for the first day of New Year, and we can see fireworks.
Fireworks.
Yes. So I think this is the biggest festival in a year. But so now, because of COVID-19 pandemic, so many festival has been
Abolished.
hold up.
Have been
Held
held up.
Held up.
Or have
Yes.
been postponed. Let's just say postponed.
Yes. Okay. Postpone.
Hoãn lại. Postpone. To postpone something. Hoãn lại.
Postpone.
To postpone something. Many festivals have been postponed. Yeah. Now tell me, okay, Miss Tu, please, can you turn on your microphone? So, are you still there, Miss Tu? Hello? Okay, so Miss Tu, how does the weather influence people's life? Sáu, bảy.
Thầy nói lại đi, tại vì trời lớn quá em không nghe được luôn á thầy.
How does the weather influence people's life?
Nowadays, weather issue is a lot hot topic for scientists. They found that it changes.
It what?
They found that it changes erratically with great
No.
impact.
It changed drastically, you mean?
It changes drastically with great impact on people such as
Impact, with great impact on people. Impact, âm đầu. With great impact on people.
with great impact on people such as drought, flood, etc. Many dangerous diseases typically the coronavirus.
Typically, the current virus.
Pandemic.
Okay. Tiếp tục, please continue. Miss Tu, are you still there? Tiếp, Miss Tu, please. Continue, please. Okay, anyway, let me ask Miss Yuan, please. Okay, so talking about weather, do you think the weather these days are different from what it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago in the past? What could be the reason for that?
I think the weather is changing every day because of human behavior.
You mean human manipulation of human behaviors, human activities?
Yes. When I was young, my mother always said to me, the weather is so perfect with the clear blue sky, and the atmosphere is really perfect. But now, can you see that a lot of problem about the weather, such as earthquake. Earthquake. Can you say that?
Of course you can say that.
Okay, earthquake and cyclones,
lốc xoáy, cyclones,
and global warming. This is one of the most important problems right now.
Okay.
And I think we have to change We must to change their
We must to
our
change.
behavior.
We must to change.
Sorry.
We must change.
We must change our behavior. Like we use more eco-friendly stuff. So now
Eco-friendly. Dùng stuff là thôi chết rồi. Dùng stuff trong IELTS là chết rồi.
Oh,
You cannot use stuff in IELTS because stuff is a very informal word. It's quite rude to say stuff. Cái chữ stuff nó giống như là cái thứ này, cái thứ kia. Nhưng mà cái giọng của nó
stood đúng không? Stool.
Like let's say by things, you get things nghe nó ổn hơn chút xíu.
Yeah.
Just use the word
Eco-friendly
things.
things. Like
Such
me,
as?
I start to use tote bag. Tote bag.
Place.
Tote bag, I know that one. Tote
Yes.
bag.
Instead
Tote bag
of
is
using
plastic one, right?
plastic bag.
Tote bag instead of using plastic ones. Những cái bằng nhựa.
Yes.
Okay, that's a very good answer, actually. Now, Mr. Yoon, how about you? How do we deal with the changing weather? What do you think?
I think nowadays people like middle up Vietnam are facing the changing of the weather a lot. Like lũ lụt là gì nhỉ?
Sorry? Like floods. Flooding.
Flooding. Flooding. Burning hot weather.
You mean scorching hot weather?
Yes.
Scorching hot tức là nóng như là nó rang lên luôn á. Trên cái lò nung luôn á. Scorching hot weather means like it's extremely hot like when you microwave something.
Scorching.
Yeah. Scorching hot, yeah.
Sometimes it can burn. It can burn the forest.
Okay.
So now people, the people on the middle of Vietnam is now have to face it, but they have a solution to do like tích trữ nước là gì thôi.
Say again. To save up water.
To save up water.
To retain water. Giữ lại nước.
To save up water.
To retain water, or you can save up water. Save up là giống tiết kiệm. Tiết kiệm xong rồi cứ để đó, đừng cho nó mất hết. Okay.
And join the tall dike. So build a tall dike to prevent from flooding. So that's what I got.
Okay, good. Now, Mr. Yuen, what do you think? How can people deal effectively with the changing weather? What do you think?
Let me see.
Of course you can see. I'll be like, of course you can see.
Can you say again? Because this question quite hard.
People deal with the changing weather in their life.
Deal with.
Yeah, in their life. How can people deal with the changing weather?
So now, one of the best way to deal with the weather is raise awareness. Like bring educate. Sorry. So like bring the weather problem into education program. like this can be the key component to the subject.
Okay.
And especially the manufacturer must be responsibility for
Must be responsible for.
must be responsible for the environment. Like they must have high tasks for their company. I think this can help the environment a lot.
This is can help. This is can help. I think this can help the environment.
This can help the environment changing a lot.
It can help the changing environment a lot.
Yes. It can help the changing environment a lot.
Okay, good. Now, let's move on to topic number 16 now. What do we have here? 16. Let me just make it bigger. Moment. Describe something important that has been kept in your family for a long time. Miêu tả một cái gì đó quan trọng mà nó đã được giữ trong gia đình, gia tộc các bạn một thời gian lâu dài rồi. You should say what it is, nó là cái gì. When your family had it, gia đình bạn đã có cái đó từ hồi nào. How your family got it, làm thế nào mà gia đình bạn có được nó. And explain why it is important to your family. Tại sao nó lại quan trọng với gia đình của các bạn. And you have part 3 of valuable items. Những đồ vật giá trị này, part 3 nè. What things do family keep for a long time? Gia đình thường giữ cái gì trong một thời gian lâu dài? What's the difference between things valued by people in the past and today? Có sự khác biệt nào giữa những thứ mà con người ta trọng giá trị trong quá khứ và so với ngày nay hay không? Like, it means like, basically, how do people value things in the past and today? Like, something will be valuable in the past, but now they are not valuable anymore, or vice versa. You know, một số thứ có thể là nó sẽ giá trị trong quá khứ, nhưng mà bây giờ nó không còn giá trị nữa. Hoặc là bây giờ nhiều thứ có giá trị nhưng mà trong quá khứ nó chẳng đáng đồng nào. Chẳng hạn. So what's the difference between things valued by people in the past and today? Or, just to put it simpler, do people in the past value things differently from people in the present? Nói cách khác là con người trong quá khứ họ trân trọng những cái thứ nào, có khác gì với ngày nay không? Okay, what kinds of things are kept in museums? Có những thứ gì được giữ trong những cái bảo tàng? What is the influence of technology on museums? Cái ảnh hưởng của công nghệ lên cho bảo tàng như thế nào? You can give examples like what do they use to, how can I say, enact, tái hiện lại, to reenact, tái hiện lại, to reenact like the past, or they can use films, or they can use virtual reality, công nghệ mà thực tế ảo, to reenact the past, something like that. You know. Okay, so I'll give you 3 minutes again because this is a difficult question. I mean, it's a difficult topic. 3 phút nha. Okay, let's do it now. Describe something important that has been kept in your family for a long time. Who would like to start first then? I would like to start first with Mr. Yu. Please describe some... What? What's the problem?
It's so difficult to me.
Oh, come on. It's difficult for everyone, though.
My house don't have anything. It's love life.
Just create a story. How about you, Mr. Van? Can you describe it?
Wow, it's really difficult, but I try.
How about Miss Yuan? Is it difficult for you?
Of course, but we try hard.
Okay. How about you, Miss Two? I think Miss Two is making a drink for his mom, so not so
Okay.
sure where she is. Maybe she's there. Okay, Mr. Bang, can you just start first? Describe
Okay.
something important that has been kept in your family for a long time.
Oh yes. So I would like to the thing that keep in my family for a long time is the a bonsai tree.
A
That is
bonsai tree,
a
right? A
bonsai
bonsai.
tree. Yes. Tree. It's how to say, it's passed down from my great grandfather to until to my father. So it's had three generations. We keep it normally. Now we keep it as a treasure. You know, I like to like to remind ourselves about and how to say that, and keep it as a treasure and remind ourselves to taking care of it, to remember about my great grandfather, because he had worked hard he has spent a lot of time and passion and his passion to create that tree, the bonsai tree. So it's how to say. Actually, I'm not familiar with this actually. How to, and I think I can stop there.
Of course you can stop there now. Okay. As long as you explain all the points correctly, it will be fine.
Wow.
Is it difficult?
Yes, it's really.
Of course it's difficult.
Practice more about this
Miss
one.
Yuan, please, your turn. Describe something important that has been kept in your family for a long time. Miss Yuan, please. Your microphone, please.
Okay.
Okay.
The most crucial things that my family try to keep for a long time. This is not exist things.
Okay, I can tell you a story. Yeah.
Mình có thể nói cái trừu tượng được không thầy, là
So you
con
can
nói
say
đồ
something that is abstract.
bữa ăn được không thầy?
Yeah.
Con nói về cái bữa ăn gia đình á.
You can talk about a family meal. You can talk about tradition.
Okay. The most crucial things that my family has been kept for a long time. This is
It's me. Giữ tôi nè.
This is family meals. I know this is quite abstract, but this is true for my family, because when my father, my parents and me was angry or yell
When
to
my
each
father,
other.
my mother, and I, the chủ ngữ. It's a subject.
Yes. My mother and I totally different state and always yell to each other.
Always argue with each other. Always argue with each other.
Always argue to each other because we are totally
with each other. Argue with each other.
My mother and me argue with each other because we are totally different states. But we always have portion together.
You
in
mean
the dinner?
always have meals together?
Yes, we always have meal together in the dinner. I think this is really important to my family, because when someone in my family absent the meal, I feel the food is less delicious.
Absent from the meal time?
Yes, from the meal time. This is less delicious.
I think it's even more delicious.
Why you said that?
I mean, it depends on each people's situation. If the people argue a lot in a meal, sometimes the meal won't taste that good, you know.
Yes.
That's true, right?
Yes.
So that's why I said maybe eating alone can sometimes be even more delicious. Okay, please continue.
Oh, maybe that's all.
One of the important thing that has been kept in my family for a long time is me myself. Gia đình tôi đã giữ cái thân tôi ở trên gia đình này bao nhiêu năm. Something like that. It's funny.
Yes, you could say that.
It's funny, you know. My family have been having me for 20 something years. And how your family got it? Well, my mom and my mother and my father got me when they in a beautiful day, you know.
I have no idea with this.
Con cò đem tôi đến gia đình tôi.
Ikrat brought me to my family 20
And my
years
mother,
ago.
but however, my mother always said that she got me from the trash bin.
Some rumors that my
Má
family
tôi
got
luôn
me
bảo là má tôi nhặt tôi từ bãi rác.
under the jackfruit tree.
That's very funny. Lấy từ trên cây mít. Lấy từ cây mít. Okay, anyway. Mr. Young, please describe something important that has been kept in your family for a long time, please.
Well,
Well,
it's a
what?
fact story, but I gotta say it's like not a fact story. Okay,
It's a factual story, you mean?
no, it's fact.
It's a fake story. You can say that. No problem. As long as you know how to say things in IELTS. I mean, IELTS never check for facts. They never fact check. They never check whether the story you're telling is real or not. They don't.
Okay.
IELTS is a test of your English ability to express yourself. Okay,
So,
please.
for a long time ago, when I was born, my grandpa give me give me a necklace.
Gave me a necklace.
Gave me a necklace. It's not really beautiful, but the texture in that necklace is quite beautiful and old and Christian. Yes.
And then?
I kept it for a long time. But when my grandpa passed away, I kept it really safety in the box.
I keep it very safe in. I keep it
box.
very safe in where?
In a box, and I clean it already. Clean it after put in the. But it's not really important for my family, but for me, it's really important because it's my. It's the things, the only things that my grandpa gave it to me. So I keep it really
Really what?
safe. Ta-da.
It's really what?
Really safe.
Okay, good. Now let's move on to part 3. Maybe Miss Two đi đâu nữa? I'm not so sure where Miss Two is. Probably she's busy. Okay, Miss Yuen, please. So let's talk about valuable items. So what things do families keep for a long time? Like normally, what do people keep for a long time in their families?
I think a lot of family, the thing that a lot of family keep for a long time, maybe this is their house. Why the reason why I said that because when they in difficult situation, they
what? They will
They
be they
never-
will be willing to sell their jewelry or anything valuable, right?
yes, they could sell many valuable and expensive things in their house, but they never want to sell their house. Maybe because of this is their accent house.
Their what?
Accent, cái tổ tiên á thầy, cái
Ancient. You mean
ancient.
no, the ancestor.
Yes.
The ancestor
Can you
home.
write
Cái nhà mà của tổ tiên của ancestor.
ancestor? Yes.
Not
Maybe
ancient.
this is-
Ancient means like very old, like thousands of years old, something like that. Ancestor home.
Ancestor. Maybe this is their ancestor home.
Nhà tổ
So
tiên.
yes. So they want to keep it.
Okay. Right. So, Mr. Bang, please. So, what's the difference between things valued by people in the past and today? What do you think?
Well, so I think in the past people like very careful, like very value of the electronic goods, like a handphone, a new handphone, a new radio, something like that. But nowadays, in the modern life, with the advanced in technology, people have a chance to approach the high tech items with a very cheap price so far. So I think they not that they not value they not value it much compared
They
to the
don't
past.
value it much.
Yes,
They don't value it
they
much.
don't value it much.
Mhm. Anything else?
Well, and in the past, during the hard time of Vietnam, people experienced the farming period. It's like they value they believe that rice and food really important for them. It's their life, you know. Even for my parents as well. So far, they keep rice. They how to say, they value the rice and food in very high value, in the
You
very
mean
special
so it
way.
depends on it depends on the national state?
Yes.
You mean the
Yes,
state of the
it has a
nation, of the
national
country?
state. Yes.
Tùy vào trạng thái của đất nước, of course. And it
Yes.
depends on the situation, like economic situation, tình huống về kinh tế of every family.
Let me note it down. So it's based on
Economic situation
economic situation.
It can be economic situation of a country or of their family. But most of the time it's economic situation of the family. Yeah, and it depends whether this family can make that thing, or is that thing available for them. Is it widely available? Liệu nó có xuất hiện mà dễ dàng có được hay không? Is it widely available or is it very difficult? So think about this one. During the COVID-19 time, social distancing, sometimes some products are difficult to get, right?
Yes.
Is it widely available? Is it difficult to get them? If it's difficult to get them, people must value them more. Okay, so okay, let me ask Mr. Yoon, please. So what kinds of things are kept in museums?
really, really valuable things. So
Yeah.
they kept in the museum. Or they bring the history story. If they bring the history story, they will keep in the museum too. Or something that's really old, or really or they just have one in the past,
Or
and
there are just
nowadays
one. There were, or there was just one of that thing in the past.
there was just one that things in the past.
There was just one of this thing or that thing in the past.
One of that things in the past, or nowadays they will keep in the museum too. So that's what I'm thinking.
All right. Now, so what is the influence of technology on museums, Mr. Young?
What?
What is the influence of technology on museums? Ảnh hưởng của công nghệ lên trên bảo tàng như thế nào?
They will well they will sometimes they will use 3D to how can I say, tái hiện lại là gì thôi?
To recreate.
Recreate.
Tái tạo lại. To recreate.
Recreate the historical.
Historical events or something.
Historical events or making the museum more interesting.
Okay.
Yes, just like that. I don't know much about the technology in the museum.
Okay. Now, so Mr. Bang, please, what do you think? What's the influence of technology on museums?
Well, I think that is play a very important role nowadays because people use the AI technology to create the items that I mean it has decay by bacteria, or they will like use the 3D technology to reform the items that have lost some part. You know, it's just been, and let me give some example. Or they use the đồng vị carbon là gì em tự nhiên quên nghe mà.
It's called
carbon
isotope.
Oh.
Đồng vị carbon. Đồng vị của carbon. Like, you know, carbon 12-6, carbon 13-6, and carbon 14-6.
14-6.
But 13-6 and 14-6 are radioactive. Phóng xạ.
Yes.
And so basically, when a corpse or someone died, that 13-6 and 14-6 will decay. Nó sẽ phân rã ra. Through time, they will decay. And by counting the amount of carbon 13-6 and 14-6 on a corpse, we can know how many years a person has died.
Yes. So it's by counting the carbon isotopes, the scientists will calculate the amount of years of how old is that items, of how old are those items, how long those people have died.
Okay. Now, tell me. Okay, so I think we should go to the next topic. It's called activities, an art or craft. Nghệ thuật hoặc là một cái gì đó làm bằng tay, hoạt động làm bằng tay, hoạt động describe an art or craft activity that you did at school. School. Mấy school nha. School. 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 Miêu tả một cái nghệ thuật hoặc là một cái hoạt động làm bằng tay chân, hoặc là hoạt động mà làm thủ công mỹ nghệ đó mà bạn làm ở trường. You should say what you made. Past tense, you see. Quá khứ hết á. Bạn đã làm được cái gì? How you made it. Bạn đã làm cái đó như thế nào? What it looked like. Nó nhìn như thế nào? Nó đã nhìn như thế nào? Explain how you felt about the activity. Giải thích là bạn cảm thấy thế nào về cái hoạt động đó. And you have part 3 about school rules. Part 3 nói về cái luật của trong trường nè. Nội quy trong trường. What kinds of rules do schools in your country have? Những trường học trong đất nước các bạn có những cái loại luật như thế nào? You just have to talk a lot about these rules, you know. What can teachers do to make students obey rules? Giáo viên có thể làm gì để giúp làm cho học trò phải tuân thủ theo quy định, theo luật? What should parents do to educate children about the laws in your country? Các bậc cha mẹ nên làm gì để giáo dục con trẻ về những luật pháp hay luật lệ của đất nước các bạn? Does your country have any laws you do not agree with? Đất nước bạn có bất kỳ cái luật nào mà các bạn không đồng tình với luật đó không? Okay, this can be quite difficult, especially school rules, you see. So, another 3 minutes for you to think. 3 phút bắt đầu. Time's up. Hello.
Hello.
Time to talk. Describe an art or craft activity that you did at school. I'll start with Mr. Yu first. Again. Why what?
Why I'm always first?
You are my nephew.
Yeah, good time for
Wait,
you.
nephew, right? You are my nephew.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I will be easy on you.
Why?
Là cháu của thầy không có nghĩa là thầy sẽ dễ dàng. Remember, life is not as easy. Just have to deal with a lot of things. Now, Mr. Young, describe an art or craft activity that you did at school, please.
Well, I have an art that I did at school is a picture of a vase. Một cái bình hoa gì nhỉ?
A vase, a flower pot.
A flower pot. About a flower pot with some flower in that pot. So I choose to draw lotus, a beautiful lotus with the architecture flower pot. The person did is I checked it from some of my cartoon movies.
Okay.
Well, I took time to.
I took time
to know how to draw lotus beautifully and drawing the flower pot, and it took me for a week to do it.
Okay.
And then I realized that
I realized that
the flower are a bit bigger than the flower pot, and it's not really balanced and beautiful. It's beautiful, but it's not really balanced between the flower and the pot. So after a long day doing doing art, I gave it to my teacher.
I gave it to my teacher. I gave it to my teacher.
And the mark is 9. It's not 10. It's just 9.
So what would happen? So what happened? How do you feel about
quite
the activity?
Well, for me it's an experience in art it's give me a lot of experience to doing art and give me more some more ý tưởng là gì nhỉ? Ideas
Ideas,
to
more
do
ideas.
my ideas to do my my work. Yes. Ta-da!
Congratulations. Now, Miss Yuen, please describe an art or craft activity that you did at school, please. Past tense, please.
In
Yes.
my school term, I have
You
I
mean in
really
your grade 10, in grade 10 in your school? Grade 10?
can I say again?
Yeah, sure, you can say again.
In my school term,
School time.
yes. In my school terms, I was interested in many new activities like sport,
Like
craft.
playing sports.
Yes, like playing sport or doing art. This is really I'm always excited. But once I was in grade 5, my school had a art activity. This is attracted a lot of students, including me. And I remember that I paint and draw a picture
I drew.
and drew
Draw,
a
drew,
picture.
drawn. So I drew.
Yes, I drew a picture. This is model.
Picture. I drew a picture.
I drew a picture. This is my model portrait.
Okay.
Okay, this is my model portrait, and a lot of teachers said to me, "Oh, this picture was really wonderful." So I believe that I think I thought that I drew as well as a
good
skillful
as I drew
artist.
as beautiful or as skillful as.
Yes, as skillful as
Wait, I drew
artist.
as skillfully because it describes how well you draw,
Okay.
right? So it should be an adverb. So I
Okay.
drew more skillfully than,
Yes.
or I drew as skillfully as.
Yes, I drew more skillful than my peer.
I drill more skillfully, tại vì nó miêu tả cái hành động, cho nên phải dùng adverb là skillfully.
Okay.
I drill
I
more
drew
skillfully.
more skillfully than my peer.
Okay.
But when I come back home and show up for my family, my mother say this is quite ridiculous, and this is not
This is quite
the
ridiculous, right?
yes, quite ridiculous, and this is not her portrait. So that's I really sad about that,
Okay.
and I never drew, and I have never drew again.
Okay. Okay. Now, Mr. Van, please describe an art or craft activity that you did at school.
Okay, so back to my schooling time, when I was at the high school, my school launched a campaign.
When I was in school. Nếu mà em nói là at thì là mình đang thực sự đang nằm ở đó luôn. Còn khi tôi còn ở trong trường, khi tôi còn là học sinh, when I was in school, when I was in school, when I was in college, when I was in the university. Thì mình sẽ nói vậy. Còn khi mà em muốn nói em đang thực sự ở vị trí địa lý, vị trí em đang đứng ở đó luôn thì là at school now.
Yes.
Okay,
So now,
try again.
back to the schooling time when I was in high school. My school launched a campaign about sunflower art. So for every picture that's drawing by hand, the school will contribute 5,000 dong, Vietnam dong for children, the cancer children.
Okay.
So it's so at my class we drawing together each photo, each person will draw one. Then I drew by myself, although I don't good at it, with the very vibrant colors. And at the end, after a few hours tried hard, result come out is pretty. It's not pretty, but it wasn't bad. It's okay. So somehow after that, I feel I was overwhelmed with emotion because I had done some good thing, you know, and how to say, if in the future if there's a campaign like this, I would participate. That's
I
all.
would participate in.
I will participate in it.
Okay, good. Let's do school rules part 3 now. So, Mr. Yoon, please, what kinds of rules do schools in your country have? You should talk about all of them, maybe. Yoon ơi, your microphone.
All the rules.
If you want to, you can just mention a few only, maybe.
Okay, just a few.
Okay.
There's a bunch of it, and I will mention some of it. Like in my high school, student cannot bring cannot use makeup for girls. They cannot do the makeup when they are at school. And the normal student have to put the shirt into the pants.
You mean tuck the shirt? They have to tuck their shirt into their pants.
Tuck the shirt into
their
the pants.
shirts in. They have to tuck their shirts in. Phải đút cái áo vào, cái tà áo vào quần. Okay. They have to tuck their shirts in their pants. Yeah. And what else?
How can I say? Seriously, not use the alcohol at school or everywhere because my age cannot use alcohol.
Of course, you're not allowed to use alcohol at your age.
Not use prohibited.
It's absolutely prohibited. Of course, it's absolutely prohibited to use that alcohol when at your age. So, Miss Yun, please. What can teachers do to make students obey rules? What do you think?
I think Ủa thầy làm gương là gì vậy thầy?
To make an example of.
Yeah. I think
To make an example of someone. No, to make an example of someone là xử lý ai đó để làm gương cho người khác. Nhưng mà cái đó là to make an example of someone.
yes.
Nhưng mà to be a good example.
Yes,
Là
I
làm
think
gương cho ai đó. To be a good example. You have to be a good example. Yeah.
I think first thing, teacher must be a good example for their students, including me. The teacher can't use phone in school, and after that, I will I will learn they have it from
from the teachers. You know, a lot of teachers, they smoke. So, of course, students learn from that bad habit too, of course.
yes. And
And then,
and especially teacher must make understand of some bad student, like
I'm listening.
oh sorry,
Okay. Now, Mr. Bang, can you continue? What can teachers do to make students obey rules?
Well, at first, they may do some slight punishment, like ask the children stand in front of the class for maybe of 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or they will take, if in school sometime they have the rule to limit a handphone using during
To limit handphone usage, you mean?
usage during class. If children break that rule, teacher will have a right to take over the handphone and maybe give it back to their parents. Hello.
Okay, that sounds like a good rules to have, don't you think?
Yes, it's not that good for me, but maybe it's better for my parents.
Of course, it's not for not for students, but it was for parents only and teachers.
Yes.
Now, so Mr. Bang, what should parents do to educate children about the laws of your country? What do you think?
So actually, they have to spend time with the kid, their children
Không được
more.
kid nha. Don't use kid
Yes,
in IELTS.
yes.
You
Only I
children.
remember. So you
Okay.
children, they should spend more time with their children in order to like share experience, share information about laws and what they can do, what they can't in the daily basis
Okay.
activities. So it's quite a good practice for parents to do in order to educate their children.
Okay. Miss Yuen, do you have any other idea?
my mind went blank.
Oh, okay, fine. So, Mr. Yuen, does your country have any laws you do not agree with? Think about it. Some laws, like for example, I think the laws that student cannot dye their hair, it's really stupid. Because why? People need to take care of their look. People need to take care of their appearance so that they will be more successful in the future. But if you do not let students do that in high school, then how can they learn to take better care of themselves, right? I think it's not a good law.
For me, I look at different aspects.
Yeah.
Dyeing hair is sometimes it's caused health issues to youngsters. You know that?
No, not really. These days, the these kind of dye coloring substances, they have been improved, so they are not as toxic as they were before.
Yes.
Of course, they have to improve their technology all the time, you know.
All right. So
And by doing so, it encourages people to better take care of themselves and of other aspects as well, like including hygiene.
yes, just one more concern is that maybe some children they may care for their look rather than care for their grade at school. So they may
Grade
spend time
at school? I don't think so.
because maybe you are the very like yes.
I'm a very open-minded person.
Yes, same as mine.
Okay,
but,
good. That's why
for-
you study at my place and you don't really care for my look.
Actually, it's personal hobby actually, but my parents also don't allow that. But for me and my children, I will leave them free, but always teach them to take care of themselves.
Okay, good now.
Okay.
Right. Okay, we can end here at unit 17, and thank you so much for watching, guys, people. Thank you so much for attending the class as well. Please like, share this video with your friends, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and press on the bell button, ding, next to the subscribe button, so you can get notified about my new uploads. You can also press on follow on my Facebook, but please don't add me on Facebook as friends, okay? Bye and see you.